What is up, yeah, buddy? Man, at the buzzer. What is up? Welcome into the Winners Lounge.
Lasers.
Do an eagle.
I like it when other people. I don't feel the weight of having to do the fake air horn. I'm not very good at it.
We got the funky music going. We got the vibes on 100. This was a game. The Nuggets, we needed this, man.
Yeah, dude.
We really needed it, and we deserved it.
Well, I like in this instance you're using we like I use we when I mean the Nuggets. We the Nuggets needed this.
They deserved it. They're separate. I'm just talking about the people watching the show, the people hosting the show.
I'm saying we needed it.
We actually needed it.
Meaning me, Jamal Murray, and Nikola Jokic.
Well, all right. We also winner shot.
It's been a while, fellas.
It has been a while. Little Rakia for you. Wait, how do we say it? Help me out.
Javili.
I don't think that's right.
All right,
I'll drink
Javili.
You said it wrong for so long, that can't be it.
Yeah, it's still rocky up for sure.
Still rough, man.
Yep.
Still rough. All right, so welcome in, everybody. Of course, as always, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR when you download the app. It's like a tradition. If you lose, somebody plays Baha Men.
Yeah.
And if you win, somebody plays death metal.
Yeah.
Just screaming at you the whole time.
Well, it's because I think it's a pretty clear metaphor to understand. If the game gets away, you wonder who let the dogs out.
$50 super sticker. Right?
Whoa! Hey, shouts.
Byron.
Shouts, Byron.
Oh, Byron.
Our homie, man.
My boy.
I'm joined by the full cast here. I got, forgot your name for a second. Brendan Vogt.
I wore a flower shirt tonight just because I thought the Nuggets might win.
You did it. You did
Well,
it.
and because it's a day.
That too.
Over here, I got D-Line Co. You guys know him as D-Line?
I feel like I've already talked enough to give it an intro, so.
All right. And then over here, of course, the best rugby player in the whole squad, Duvalier.
Whole squad ready.
I'm the strongest. I could probably do the most push-ups. Probably not, actually. I just made that up.
I bet Vogt could do the most push-ups.
Back in the day, yeah.
Little
Dev
guys
just give
always could get a
Before the accident, anyway.
Did Dev just give us a view into a future show where he's doing a
feats
push-up
straight.
challenge?
A push-up challenge. I like it.
Oh, boy.
I could do the Nuggets challenge where I'm eating. I could do something like that. I can't do a push-up
Speaking
challenge.
of which, we're going next week. We're doing the Nuggets challenge or next game.
Next game on Thursday, the
Next
Nuggets.
game, we're gonna do
Who's
the
doing
Nuggets
them?
challenge.
Blaze
Hunter, my partner. He also does the post game for the Avs
Avalanche.
now.
Yep.
The man, what's his name again? Kale.
Kale.
Super
Hey, by the
producer
way,
Kale.
shout super producer Kale. He's
Back
back.
from
A little more
Hawaii.
tan, a little more relaxed,
And a little bit more bossy.
A little
Yeah,
more
a little
bossy. He
bossy
definitely is a
tonight.
little more bossy. He's
Yeah.
feeling himself. Guys, there's so much to get to it tonight in the show. I can't wait for it. This was this would have been you couldn't draw this up. This was like a great night for what the Nuggets needed. A blowout is fun, but I think a close game where you have to go back to what makes you special. And tonight was a game that reminded everybody, especially the TNT audience, it reminded everybody that Jokic Murray two-man game.
Yeah.
It's special. It's not just like it's good. It's that when they get in a groove, you don't stop it. They might miss, but they don't usually miss in the fourth quarter. Or those two together, both incredibly clutch. It's special, man.
And you know what? At times this year, it's been a little bumpier than we're used to. At least the crunch time Jokic Murray two-man. And so that was my favorite part and big takeaway from tonight.
Yeah.
They looked in control the ways they had years prior. And this kind of reminded me in many ways of some of those Portland games in that series.
Yeah, it's the way that they have in year prior. They really established it last year. But
True.
The difference, why is it working now? Because Jamal Murray has returned to us. Our
That's true.
Prodigal son, our bubble son Murray has returned home. We love him. We missed him. And I just can't wait to talk to him, see what he learned.
I'm not trying to bring the vibes down by any
Oh,
means.
boy. Everyone brace for this.
Brace yourselves. But this was a classic Murray game in that he had 3 points going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he was
had 3
actually
points.
really
You're
bad.
right. You're right,
until he
Eric.
was-
You're right. Who cares or whatever because they won. But I'm just saying, at some point, you need four-quarter Murray as well. Four-quarter Murray, four-quarter Jokic, that's a great team. Tonight, it was enough to get it done because he had 21 in the fourth quarter, which is not bad.
Pretty good.
Krista, our friend Christopher Dempsey had a great stat earlier today. Let me pull it up because I retweeted it. He tweeted it out. Last 4 games for Jamal Murray, fourth quarter. This is fourth quarter only. This isn't the game. The fourth quarter. 19 points, 20 points, 16 points, 19 points. His low over that span is 16 points in a fourth quarter.
Crazy.
The guy is coming up clutch,
It's just
man.
the sweetest reminder of what we all thought we knew and hoped, right? Like winning time Murray is different. That's real, right? Bubble inflation maybe, but winning time Murray is a different player.
Yep, and it's actually important that you say that because we have always seen this whole year we've seen Murray for a quarter, and then he just kind of disappears. And then the Nuggets have to figure it out for the rest of the game. But for him to be able to close teams out and be the player that you could go through, and it gives the Nuggets a different option. Now you have to guard Jokic and you have to guard Murray late in the game. It makes them that much more dangerous and potent.
So, yeah, to me, the two-man game is probably the story tonight because of how it closed. And it was great to see it. I mean, this is why Denver went to the Western Conference Finals last year. A lot of people, we all know how annoying the 10,000-foot narratives are about, oh, well, the Clippers choked this or whatever, easy path people try to say. The real answer was that the Nuggets have a hell of a closing combo.
Clutch AF.
Even if you go back to last year, Murray's 50-point games and 35 and 40, all those big games, a lot of them were big fourth quarter and overtime. They were good games that closed with like crazy runs because you go to your bread and butter. You say, hey, we got that one. There's not a lot of nuance here. Put some shooters around them. Go to your bread and butter, and we dare you to see what you're going to pick. Pick your poison.
Yeah, and also like those big games came at times when the Nuggets were facing elimination. They were in the fourth quarter of the season. You know, it's like Murray is that guy. Like he is the gamer. He's like he'll step up when he just doesn't take things seriously until they're serious.
I think a lot of guys too. The fourth time they come back down that fourth heat check, you go, all right, they've probably cooled off. This is your take about Jamal. They're quarters long. Like once he gets hot, he's hot until the game ends or until something happens. You know, some guys it's little spurts, but with Jamal, it's like you go from I don't really want him to shoot any of this to shoot every time.
Yeah. Absolutely, he gets in a zone that's unlike anybody else. Like it just lasts. It lasts forever.
Dude, freaking Murray's back.
Murray. Well, yeah, I do like how you declare something or someone back every single time.
I'm right. I'm right about this. I don't care.
Well, it has been several games in a row.
It's been six games.
So let's ask it again. I'm not trying to bring this down, but let me ask about the first three quarters.
His shoulder was hurt. I mean, truly, he was 1 for 8. He was like rubbing his shoulder. It was bothering him. He wasn't being that assertive.
Did Jamal Murray give this answer?
No, but you're being
earnest here. I'm curious.
At a certain point, like you have to just look at that and be like, well, this guy is on or off until he's on, and then when he's on, he's on. And I don't know why. Like some people just require pressure to be able to rise to the occasion. They're not able to conjure it themselves. Jamal seems to be one of these guys. Jokic is not a guy. He can like actually create the urgency for himself. Not everybody can do that. I don't know why Jamal's that way, but he is. So
you buy in this, Dev?
No, I'm not as far as the injury or anything like that. I think that he kind of was just not playing well in the first half, and he was just trying to figure it out. Got the ball to Jokic. Jokic started off hot, and I think that he pushed back and gave Jokic the floor to do whatever he wanted. But then when it was late in the game, he was like, okay, now it's my turn to step up. Because when you really think about it, Jokic started on the bench, and Malone even said it. He's like, we're going to have to go through Jamal. He didn't even care that there was an injury. Someone said, hey, he hurt his shoulder, and he's like, okay, we're going to have to go through him still. Yeah. And Jamal actually knew that. Like, okay, if I'm going to be in the game, I might as well do something. And that's when he got himself going and got started.
Yeah. Are you concerned, though, Dev, about the first three-quarter thing? Because here's the thing. Jamal can be up and down game by game. Right now he's on a heater where the overarching numbers are good. But he can also be up and down in that some quarters you're just like nothing from him. And then all of a sudden everything from him. Like, is that a concern or is that shouldn't be concerned about it?
I say it's not something that I'll be concerned about because it's the opposite of what we were seeing before, and we were down on Jamal. Now he's closing out games and he's actually putting up the big numbers now, so we can't be down on that. Also, it seems to be a switch for him where he could just really just turn it on right now. So I would rather to have the switch Jamal than the let's figure it out and see how he plays this quarter.
It definitely feels like a switch because it happens in big moments.
I'm telling you, like he just feels the pressure, like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
And then he turns on. I mean, I wish he wasn't that way, but he's a person that requires motivation.
Oh, he does have a lot of the Jordan in him. Like maybe he should take up gambling. To be honest with it, no, he should just start betting on everything because he needs to feel the ultimate pressure before he gets
gambling
going.
So he understands what it means to miss his point total by a half point. Thanks, Jamal. Thanks, Jamal.
Well, you should have known, actually, in hindsight, we were like, should we take 24.5 over for his birthday? No, he turned 24. He turned 24. Yeah, he turned 24. He scored 24. Should have known, Eric. Didn't think this one through.
Some people get candles, other people get buckets.
That's on you.
I understand.
Yeah. I feel stupid.
I also
Why
took
can't you
that
have
bet.
both? Can't you have candles and buckets?
No. There's not buckets of candles. So you have to choose.
There's not. There are definitely buckets of candles.
So Murray has 24 points. He grabs 8 assists, 2 steals, and a block. You want to know something funny? For me watching this game, I felt like Murray didn't miss. And he was below 50% by 1 shot.
Oh, I know where this is
And I
going.
thought Jokic missed everything and had a horrible off night. He was one make above 50%.
Oh, but wasn't he off from 3, Adam?
Yeah, he did. He didn't. He missed a lot of his threes.
All right.
Yeah.
3 of 6. Like, the bar is so high, man. Like, it's like, okay, it was 41, but it didn't look very good.
It was like how were the vibes?
I feel like he missed some shots.
Yeah, it just felt like he missed shots that we expect him to make. He
Right.
should have 50 again tonight because he missed a couple bunnies. But, this people think I'm criticizing. This was a great Jokic game. And what I like about Jokic that is different from seasons prior, he knows and embraces the idea that him scoring a lot of points is good for the team. And I know there's those stats out there about, he scores this many points, the team has this record or what have you. I think those stats are misleading. Like, if there are players where that matters, you think of, guys that are maybe a little bit of chuckers, early in his career, Zach LaVine, where it's like, every time he scores a lot, that's because he's trying too hard. Jokic is never trying to score points. He's just like, but in years past, teams have said, hey, we're going to stay home on you. We're going to make you score a bunch of points. And you could tell he didn't like that. Yeah. Now tonight he was just like, they're putting Cantor on me. They want me to score, but like, whatever. I'm going to bully this dude until they stop. And they just never stopped. And he's like, well, I'm going to keep shooting. He went stretches in this game where he missed a lot of shots in a row. And you wouldn't have known it from how he played.
Just to start with the Jamal thing, it's actually ironic that to begin the season, he was like this facilitator that wanted to get everyone involved and make these passes and do everything like that. And he wasn't having, like, the Nuggets weren't winning. It was not successful. But now, with him scoring big points and doing what he has to do, he's actually putting up more assists and getting guys into better spots because now he's playing winning ball, he's playing aggressive, and it's making other people have to adjust. So, like, that's the Jamal. Like, I don't know if he has someone in his ear or just, like, Malone actually talking to him now and saying, hey, aggressive Jamal, scoring the ball is going to open up everything else. That's what we need you for. If you can look at you doing everything else, we weren't winning those games. Now that you're scoring, it kind of goes hand in hand. And then as far as Jokic, like, that's just like elevation in his game and just the next, like, steps in his game is now he realizes nobody could guard him.
Right.
Like, at first I think that he took a lot into, okay, this guy is a defensive guy. I'm going to try to space out the floor and get everyone else involved, or I'm going to outthink him in these other ways. But now I think that it's more so I'm more talented than him. I am stronger than him. I'm bigger than him. Yeah. I'm going to score because that's what I do. I'm a superstar. He can't guard me. So I think that, like, he has that in his mindset now. It makes it a lot easier for him.
Yeah. I cannot believe Portland did not send help tonight. We talked about it in the pregame show. We thought that there was no way they would let Cantor guard Jokic on an island. And again, like, let's put this in context. Not just Jokic in this month, where he's looking to score more than he ever has at any point in his basketball life. And Portland said, Cantor one-on-one. We'll live with it.
Right. It is hilarious to think that there was one double sent in this game, and it was the Nuggets on Carmelo Anthony. When Jokic, they were like, I mean, how many of these elbow jumpers can he possibly
I thought they got a little bit more aggressive with him down the stretch, which is what teams do with him often, which is like, hey, make you carry the load for 3 quarters. Maybe they think he'll get tired or annoyed with it or this or that, and then at the fourth quarter we're going to mix it up. But again, like it worked for Denver in this game with him just going for 41 points. By the way, guys, tonight, this was now the second most field goal attempt. He took 32 shots tonight. Goes 17 of 32. The second most field goal attempts he has taken in a game. He has taken 33. He took that against Sacramento on the 6th. On February 6th. That was an L. 29 he took against Charlotte a couple seasons ago, 2 seasons ago. That was a dub. And then on the 22nd of January, he took 27. So now 4 out of the 5 times in his career he has taken 27 or more shots have come in the last 6.5 weeks.
That's crazy. That's a crazy
dude, he's a new player. He's like a new guy.
He really is.
He's like a totally new guy. Like he's turned into just what we always wanted him to be. It's like crazy to watch it unfold in front of you, and you're like, come on, Yoke, shoot. And then he shoots it. You're like, oh, awesome. Do it again. That's like, keep doing it. That's awesome.
Even with his jumper, and a lot of it was those free throw line jumpers that he's usually just so automatic about. Byron's feeling it, man.
Blessed us again.
Byron, dude.
Man, you're a homie. First team all
this next flower shirt I get.
But put it up on the screen. The greatest thing about the super chat with a
it describes it
is that it will just describe it. Let's see, giant pear character waving flags and turning around, making the buildings in front of him tremble.
That sounds like Byron. That's my boy Byron.
That's my guy Byron. That's so classic.
That's crazy in college. It's crazy.
That is amazing. So great game from Jokic tonight, going at Cantor, and great job by Murray tonight closing out the game. Why don't we hit our first break, because there's some other major storylines. In fact, King of the game. Oh yeah, really quick. We got King of the game. Actually, that's an appropriate sized hat, I feel, for tonight. It was a very, very good game. 41-5-5.
Kale, I saw you trying to put the crown behind the elbow. You gave up?
I you were already talking about Jokic, so I was worried about it. I'm going to miss it.
We've got depth issues on this graphic.
Look at how not close Cantor is to defending this play.
So hilarious.
He's also in the E Honda. This is a throwback too. Doesn't he look like E Honda?
Yeah,
that's the E Honda movie. Yeah, I know video games, man. That's just my wheelhouse. I'm always dropping video game references.
You're so plugged in, bro.
Really recent ones too. Very modern references.
Well, the thing about Street Fighter is that there's a new edition every year, so it literally is.
Really?
Yeah, it's true.
Is this true? Well, I'll have to play it. Are the graphics any better? Because that was part of the charm.
Yeah, the graphics have gotten better.
Really?
Yeah.
Believe it.
Isn't there a Mortal Kombat movie or TV show?
Yeah,
what is it?
A new game just came out too. You want to come over and play?
New movie coming out.
I would come over and play, but I nobody has fun when I play, because it's
That's
like
right, yeah.
the same with golf. I try to play golf with everyone. They're like, all right, Adam's coming. It's gonna be really slow.
No.
That's kind of how we are with the pod too. But
damn it.
This is like a theme that follows you at literally every phase.
Every aspect of my life. It's like people just don't want me around for it. Let's take our first break. On the other side, we do have some big topics. Michael Porter, guys, little Zignaji, if you will, and then I'm going to tell you, I might have a new number one favorite lineup, and it played a huge role tonight. I'm going to talk about it.
More of that, please.
The four of us.
Hey, Carol, let's go to that Zoom care break.
So what exactly is video care? Well, video care is like a trip to Zoom care, just from your couch. You can see, hear, and chat with your doctor, just like a traditional in-office visit. Get secure access to urgent, primary, and specialist care, including mental health. It's all from the comfort of your own home. Video care is covered by most private insurers, usually with a copay. Head to zoomcare.com/video to get started.
Breckenridge Brewery is, of course, the official beer of DNVR. They also have the official beer of the Denver Nuggets. Have you seen the Mile High City Copper Lager in that blue Denver Nuggets can? It's gorgeous, it's delicious, and it's Nuggets themed. If you're a Nuggets fan, you got to check it out. Use the Breck Beer locator, punch that in, punch your address in. It'll tell you where to find it. Down to the nearest 10th of a mile.
Wow, really?
That's right.
I used the Breck Beer locator just this very day, trying to find out my boozies. See where my boozies are.
Did you get some booze? You're saying those first? That's seltzers.
Those are seltzers, boozies. Of course they are. You knew exactly what they were.
Because I've heard you say it a bunch. I can't really. I was trying to.
Also known as Seltzies. If you're confused, guys, Breck is finally introducing their seltzer line. It comes in a beautiful Jokic 15-pack. They've got apple, pear, cherry, peach, berry, and honeydew. They're all good. I actually mean that. Head to the Breck Beer locator like Adam did and see where the closest 15-pack is of Breck Seltzers.
By the way, there was one at the liquor store right behind my house.
You can also order delicious food and booze from the farmhouse if you're able.
1/10 of a mile.
Call 303-803-1380. That's 303-803-1380 from 12 to 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Use code DNVR to save $5.
Do we still have another one?
We do. I lost it, though. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Well, guys, it's not quite time for the madness that is college basketball.
3 weeks away it is.
In March. But that doesn't mean the fun has to wait.
Madness.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app,
I'm
is giving
so up
all
on
new
my
players the
DraftKings
chance to
account.
cash $100. New customers can bet $1 on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. And if your team makes it rain, you can cash $100. $100. That's right. All it takes is for one 3-pointer being hit by your chosen team to turn $1 into $100. Does that sound like a no-brainer? That's because you'd have to have no brain not to take them up on this deal. It's a slam dunk of an offer. It won't be around forever, so head to the App Store now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook. Get in on all of the actions. DraftKings has already paid out over $7 billion to its customers since 2012, so they know a thing or two about big paydays, and you know that they are legit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR to get your shot to turn $1 into $100 when you bet on any team to hit a 3-pointer in any basketball game this week. That's promo code DNVR for new customers to get a shot at 100-1 odds. Any basketball team to hit a 3-point shot. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. Winning paid out in 4 $25 free bets. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. That's 1-800-522-4700.
Thank you. Back here, guys, for segment 2 here. Are you just crushing it, Dev? Is that what you're doing? Just
Dev's
crushing
over
it
here crushing it.
And you know what? I lost all my bets tonight.
Oh,
and
no,
I
we were
was
actually
talking
looking
trash.
at Tinder.
Oh, Tinder. Oh, actually, his girl's watching. You better be careful, man. You better be careful. All right. I have before we start the segment. It's going to be a good segment, guys. I promise, but I have to start it on a little bit of a. This is really tough. They're going to really turn on me right now.
He's been wanting to tell you guys. I say no, don't tell. But
I'm a man. I connect with the people. I'm honest. I connect with the people. I'm being honest here.
Appreciate this,
guys. I took a buyout on my Jokic MVP bet. I took a buyout. I made $84 on my bet. I made.
There goes the winner. Hey, that's a winner.
I won money.
We got bad vibes right now.
I don't know. You came up on top and you won. You won.
I don't encourage anybody else to sell shit unless they want to. I'm going to explain why. You see the media turning it, man. You already see the machine. You see it going like you got to be like the top 3 seed. It's going to be so hard to do. I just saw it and I saw this payout and I thought, you know what? I just made good money on my bet here. So. Man, I really
that's
took
a real
the air out of this. Really
sick, Adam. You're probably right that Nikola Jokic won't win MVP.
Is there a bet where I can say the Denver Nuggets won't win the championship this year? Is that possible?
I thought you guys would be happy for me that I made $84.
Oh, I forgot to say congratulations
Thank you.
on having no faith in Nikola Jokic and cashing out early. Like
I have complete faith in Nikola Jokic.
Okay.
It's society that I don't trust. That's that society that
Well,
wants
put
to
your
let
money
me
where your
down.
mouth is, buddy.
Women and children only in these lifeboats and Adam Mares.
Rowing to safety there. That's the worst. Guys, a couple other things we have to get to. You know, if you can limit it to 12 turnovers or less in a game, you did a great job. If you get it down to 10, really good job. And I've only heard this 1 or 2 times. You keep it below 5, almost certainly winning. But tonight, the Denver Nuggets, don't ask me how, had 1 turnover.
One.
Had 1 turnover. Now, some of this was a function of the way that Portland was playing. Again, not, there wasn't a lot of ball movement tonight because Portland wanted to stay home and make this into that one-on-one matchup for Denver. But the fact that they just didn't have any or just a single one, to me, that's absurd.
I wouldn't even want to be the guy that had the turnover. If everybody else is taking care of the ball and doing what they have to do, then you be the one guy that has the turnover.
You know that one guy was?
Jamal Murray. You just got to drop 20 in the 4th, and then it's fine, bro.
I thought it was.
Everything is forgotten then.
Yeah.
It's ice under the fridge at that point. But yeah, the Nuggets took care of the ball, and in the NBA, if you take care of the ball, you get more opportunities, you score. Like it's pretty simple. Taking care of the ball gets you whatever you want, and then you have 2 stars. Jamal Murray looked like a star when he's in that type of zone against a team like Portland that has these guys that are just up and down, and then Lillard who could close you out at any time. You can't give them extra scoring opportunities. So taking care of the ball works.
Man, it did feel like they avoided that stretch where they just shoot themselves in the foot that we seemingly on a game-to-game basis this season. Even that Melo stretch in the second, I thought some of that defense was fine, and Melo was just hitting Melo shots.
He was just hitting Melo shots. So. The greatest moment of this game that we all laughed heartily at, which I want to just bring back up, was at the end of the half when they were like, "Ooh, they don't. This is why they call him Logo Lillard for a reason." And
right as the buzzer goes off,
dribbled into a
shot clock violation.
Someone get me that NBA Top Shot. Tattoo it on my eyelids.
That's so funny. The other big storyline tonight for me. Well, I'll talk about the lineup, but first I want to go to one player specifically tonight that I thought was very good, but maybe a little unheralded, which was Michael Porter. He gets 12 points tonight, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block shot, goes 4 of 9, including 2 of 4 from 3. That's an efficient night.
Yep.
And it was a stay in his lane night. But more than anything, his defense was, I thought, solid tonight. There weren't plays where you looked out there and were like, what are you doing? Or any of those, or offensive possessions where you thought he was doing too much or trying to insert himself too much. I thought this was a very good Michael Porter game. 30-point games, he has those, whatever, and those are obviously awesome. But I feel like for him to reestablish himself on this team and to get where he wants, he needs 6 or 7 of these. The other stuff is going to come once he gets 6 or 7 of these in a row.
All of those points came in the first half, I think.
They did, yeah. He scores
It really feels like they were making a concerted effort to get him involved. And he was involved, and then he just was not involved. So it would be nice to have
But
him,
it didn't drop off. His play didn't drop off.
No. His shooting and involvement on the offense dropped off precipitously, but his quality of play on the defensive end and just being involved did not drop off. I would like to see his offense continue throughout. That would be nice.
But I don't. Well, I mean, I would. Of course, I would like to. But I'm saying I don't expect it. I really do think.
I don't. Well, when you have those two guys rocking, like, what's the point?
But what I'm saying is I think the team isn't looking to him to score. When he scores, it's a bonus. What they're looking for him to do is what he did tonight. And that's why it was so impressive to me is that he didn't get the shot. He didn't get the feel-good things. But he still did all of the dirty work. And I just think the team really wants that of him. It means something to to all the vets on this team that he can do that and be impactful.
And then also just looking at it, Michael Porter came into this game probable, but they talked about him being injured heading into the game. Guess who had the most minutes out of anybody in the game? Michael Porter Jr.
Is that right?
He had the most minutes in the game.
40 minutes.
And that's not a coincidence. That's Malone seeing that this guy had a double-double and did what he had to do out there. It's also not a coincidence that Michael Porter Jr. looks best at power forward. Like, they put him at a spot that he's really comfortable at, and he's been playing really well in those situations.
Yeah.
Like you said, Adam, he does not have to score to have an effective game and also to look like he fits in on this team. He had 10 rebounds. He showed flashes. He was like the guy that they went through early in the game, and he got them on the board and going. And then he kind of, just like mellowed down, but still made the right plays.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you need from Michael Porter Jr. You don't need these huge scoring nights to say he had a good night.
You do.
Because then you trick him into thinking that's what I need to do instead of these things.
But don't you feel like had Michael Porter Jr. had a great, or at least an above average for him offensive night, we wouldn't have been sweating it out to a team that was on the second night of a back-to-back coming into Denver. Like, we would have just blown this team out like we should have.
I mean, maybe he could have been, a burst factor in the third. And this is a team that struggles in the third a lot. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing them try to get him going in those moments.
I want all three of those guys to just
for sure, but
catch fire.
Back to the point we made at the top of the show, this was the best Jokic and Murray looked together to close a game all season.
No question.
Complete control. And so it was okay to see MPJ to fall back because 0 points in the fourth, but 4 rebounds in the fourth. 12 minutes, team high +5. So he didn't disengage.
No,
right?
not at all.
He wasn't involved, but he was on the court, and it wasn't 4 versus 5. And in a lot of ways, that's like a best case scenario thing.
Yeah.
And then you just look at like the things that you could continue to do. He can do these type of games very often and can find consistency. Is he going to be able to score 30 every single night? No.
Right.
So these are the things that you want him to continue to do. So this is the type of games that I hope that he goes back and says, I was able to play the entire game and coach really did trust in me. And hopefully Malone is in his ear saying that's what we need from you because those games are replicable.
Yeah. And I think this is, I'm telling you, this is the key for Michael Malone, whether Michael Porter understands it or not. I really do think it's one of those things where he's like, I wouldn't be surprised tonight in the post-game commentary. Wynn's going to join us here in 10, 15 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if Malone put extra praise on Michael Porter tonight than he did even in the nights when he scored 30 or 25 or whatever, or had the highlight block. I wouldn't be surprised if tonight was a night he sort of singled out for him.
When you punish the dog and then later on you pet the dog, you give the dog treats, you make sure that he still knows that you love him, and then you get the loyalty, but you break the bad habits. And then you hit him on the nose with the paper. I forget who we're talking about.
A human being. But a little weird, but I'm just kidding. I want to now reveal what is now my new favorite 5-man line. I really think this might be my new favorite. So we've talked a lot about and honestly, Compazzo deserves his own segment. Maybe we'll give him some more airtime here in a second. But we've talked about Jamal Murray playing best alongside, what is that?
I'm counting the
playing best alongside another point guard. So you put Compazzo out there, who, by the way, Compazzo's defense
Dude, can we talk about this?
I mean, we'll talk. We have to give him his own airtime, so we'll talk about it in a second. But Compazzo, you put him out there. He just hounds the other team. He can run pick and roll. He makes the right plays. Like, he knows how to play Jokic ball. He knows how to be in the way or out of the way, depending on what you need. So you get Compazzo, you get Murray. You stopped counting. You get Michael Porter Jr., which adds you some length and everything. You get Zeke Naji, who, by the way, guys, the defense, I'm telling you, the defense, I'm liking it. Got burned a few times by Damian Lillard down the stretch, but I mean, come on, we're talking about a power forward guarding a guard. If he gets some stops, that's a positive. And then, of course, Jokic. I like that lineup because you get the Murray-Jokic two-man game. You also get Compazzo as another guy that can run pick and roll with Jokic, and he'd had a couple passes tonight to him that delivered it just on the money. Then you get size. I mean, we talk so often about Denver playing, small perimeter basketball. Zeke always on the perimeter, so that works. But he's 6'11", and then Michael Porter also 6'11" around the. That's a really tall lineup. That's perimeter oriented, and you get low usage guys with point guards. I love it. We saw a lot of it tonight, and I loved it.
Beautiful. And you don't really sacrifice much. I mean, floor spacing's there. There's D. I mean, it's. I absolutely loved that lineup tonight. This was one of my lineups. You asked us 2 games ago when all these injuries happened. I've been wanting to see this one. You talk about trying to put Jamal next to a point guard too. I mean, Facu really. I'm buying anyone who dares to sell Facu stock right now. Matt Moore, I am buying.
Whoa!
I'm buying all of it.
I don't think Matt Moore is like
he had no stock
with Gary Harris stock. He never owned Facu stock to begin with. He can't sell it.
Yeah, he has no stock for sure.
By the way, I love Matt. He's my friend, but that's a sub tweet.
But
it's not a sub if I say your name, is it?
When you say it directly, when you look into the camera and you point, Matt Moore, I'll get you. Subtweet.
Dev, where are you at with that 5-man lineup? We haven't. I don't know if we've seen it prior to tonight, and if we have, I don't remember it. But seeing it out there on the court tonight, I was like, ooh, I think they found something here.
Well, just putting the guys at their natural positions of what they truly are. Michael Porter Jr. at the 4, it just works. And then Jamal Murray off ball, it just works. It works for spacing. It works for like continuity and just like flow of the offense. Everyone is involved. If they're not involved, then they're still moving. And it's a mixture of high IQ mixed with scoring, and you get everything that you really need. And then you couple it with size, so you could match it up with anybody. You could match up with the small lineups. You could go big if you need to. So I think that just works.
So I think that tonight was the first it had played 6.5 minutes. It was a +9. 6.5, 7 minutes, and it was a +9. Listen to this, guys. They went 9 for 11 from the field.
Is that good?
That's very good, including 4 for 4 from 3. So maybe some of this is, we need obviously a larger sample size. But tonight, it's a lineup that makes sense. You get 6 assists on 9 field goals.
Well, yeah.
You get 0 free throws out of this, and you still win a
lot of this is inflated because Murray went absolutely ballistic. And he was just hitting every single shot.
But this was a third quarter lineup primarily. They played it in the fourth for just a couple minutes, I believe.
I was going to say, it's funny, more often than not, just in the tenure of Michael Malone, we always, find some lineup that he's absolutely forced to play through injury.
Right.
And just through pure necessity that we're like, why don't you do that all the time? And he won't. He won't do it ever again. But it was fun to see.
Yeah. I think he might, though, honestly.
Possible.
Look, I think you can tell the guys Malone naturally gravitates towards, and guys maybe he naturally does not gravitates away from. Michael Porter seems to be one of those guys he gravitates away from, but tough love, whatever.
Now that you mention it.
Now that I mention it, obviously he loves Murray and Jokic, he's a big guy, but Zeke and Compazzo, high on the Michael Malone skip. There's a Michael Malometer. That
Malometer?
That's so good.
Michael Malometer.
Take some notes, buddy.
We actually
jot that one down.
Zeke Naji and Compazzo are they almost break the scale. Those are the types of guys he absolutely loves. So I think we might see it. We might see it more.
The Malometer. I heard nothing else after you said that.
So let's talk about Compazzo because, like I said, he deserves his own airtime tonight. He goes 1 of 5 from the field tonight, 1 of 4 from 3. He gets 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 points. +4. He has a block shot. He had a block shot tonight. Do I remember this?
Who?
Facundo Compazzo had a block shot tonight.
Yeah, I don't remember when that was.
It must have been when somebody was going up. I think it may have been on Melo.
He did take 2 charges in one possession.
Oh my God!
And get neither call.
They were just comic, like they were just falling and getting up and falling.
And when he did that, he still found a way to get back to his man.
Yeah,
I don't know how he does.
He
it.
plays so hard.
We need somebody out there to take that and put it up against Yakety Sax.
But back on Facu. Before we could even talk about his game today, that pass in the corner was beautiful.
Oh, to Najee.
He had like 5 of them.
But that one was, I don't even, it was so beautiful. Like we talk about NBA Top Shot. Like that is a beautiful play. And it was to Zeke Najee, and he shows off his beautiful stroke. And everything just was like going well. But even on games that he's not scoring, Facu, he still finds a way to still control things and show that he's still a part of the offense and still knows how to run things. They don't need him to score, but they need him to run the offense and control pace, and that's exactly what he does. And he makes sure to get everyone involved. Like a lot of his passes, he had the 2 steals early in the game, and then one of the steals, he holds it under like just composed. Chest pass Zeke Najee for the fast break. Like those are the type of plays that you need from like a veteran type of guard. And I mean, even though he's older, he's still a rookie, still trying to learn the NBA like system. So you got to tip your hat to a player like that.
I'm very in on Facu. And I'm not saying this is like a
novelty
or what?
I don't know. That didn't apparently, he got the block on Dame Lillard. We've been told 100 times.
Damian Lillard? I can't remember
we're
this
idiots.
For some reason. Yeah, everybody saw it. Well, I'll get you guys. I don't know if everybody saw it. Somebody from the arena actually texted me today saying, I don't know if anybody caught this because nobody was talking about it, but apparently he had a pass to Hartenstein where he nutmegs Cantor too. So you were talking about that pass. That's why I said there was multiple of them, because one of them, apparently he passed it, he nutmegged somebody, and it was so smooth that nobody even noticed.
There's the one to Yoke, too, where he just popped
always
it
over the head. He likes that one.
I loved Zeke on that play. Like, he caught that ball. It actually wasn't a great pass. It was like a step in front of the line, and Zeke was like, no, I have to finish this highlight. Like, he was always going to shoot that ball.
Yeah.
Zeke's ready.
He did hesitate once today, though. Zeke did. There was one like little half hesitate. It was the first time I noticed it. But Compazzo, so I wonder now, and this might be a ways away. Who knows what the status is with Gary Harris, PJ Dozier? Maybe we're talking about after the All-Star break. We're getting so close now that any injury you start to wonder, do you just wait? But when everybody's back, I think Facu has to play, and I think he has to play good. I don't think he's a 10-minute per game guy. Like, to me, Facu changes the energy of the game. He fits with a lot of lineups that I really like, and to me, he's in. Like, you start to. The guys that are in for sure, Jamal Murray's obviously in. Okay. I think Monte Morris is for sure in. Like, unless they traded him, which I don't anticipate.
There's no way he doesn't fall out of the rotation.
But Monte Morris is in. I also think Gary Harris is in. Like, I just don't think you axe Gary Harris. There's one more spot, and you've got Will Barton, you've got PJ Dozier, and you've got Facundo Compazzo. I think Barton is in as well, but I think he's in as a small forward, like a backup small forward. I kind of think it comes down to Dozier and Compazzo, and I wouldn't be surprised if Compazzo not only won that battle, but also stole some minutes from some of the other guys, Gary Harris and Monte Morris. Like, just takes 2 from each of those guys and all of PJ's minutes.
I think with Malone, he's going to just do like matchup based
maybe
with Dozier. So the bigger guards, he'll try to have Dozier be the one that's trying to guard the bigger guards, and put the like Gary Harris on the other guys. But then on those small guards that are quick and give the Nuggets troubles every single time, the De'Aaron Foxes and players like that, that's when Facu will earn his minutes. And the thing that you get to see with Facu is, regardless of if he plays a lot of minutes or if he doesn't play, when he finally gets on the game, he's ready. Like, he's going to be ready. He's still going to be his same energetic self. Like, no pouting. He's like. Everything about him is veteran, and he's already been here before. It feels like so. That's just good.
He's literally a veteran, but that's a rookie. I mean, he's quite old. The funny thing though about Compazzo, just really quick, Brendan. The thing about Compazzo is that we've seen what it looks like when you give him little bits of minutes here and there, and he's like wildly ineffective. But then when you just allow him to go out there and like actually play the game that he, the way that he wants to,
put the ball in his hands,
like, he flourishes. He plays even bigger than he is. And so,
but can I push back on one thing though? Because I'm with you on the ball in his hands thing, but I think it's actually less important because the ball wasn't in his hands a ton tonight. He actually was off ball
on the court.
But this was my point, is I think it had as much to do early on just to like, where was he? You're right about the low minute totals, 100% agree. It's hard to be good in like 6 minutes at a time. But I think it's also just the team learning him and him learning the team and like just learning where you fit in. And that's natural. I mean, these guys did not really have a training camp. Remember the first like 5 days of training camp, nobody could even be in the building at the same time. So going from a limited opportunity to get to know each other and everybody to get to know you to now where they are, where I just feel like he knows where he belongs on this team and when to insert himself into an action, when not to, and then defensively playing. He's picking up all those fouls, less so lately because I think he just kind of learned like when and how to be aggressive.
So at that point, your backup center is just completely out of the rotation, right?
Maybe, everybody bumps down a little bit, and JaMychal Green and Paul Millsap now are taking up a lion's share of your big
That
minutes.
seems more likely to me than one of Facu, PJ, or Barton. Our commenters brought up a good point. PJ is a Malone guy too. I mean,
he is a Malone guy.
That to me seems more likely at this point, but we'll see.
It's weird that like Monte Morris might be the least Malone guy of all the guys that the Nuggets have. Monte Morris
of all the guys?
I'm just saying, like Malone's a Murray guy. He's a Compazzo guy. He's a Gary Harris guy.
Probably
I'm just saying that he's a Dozier guy. Like I think he likes Monte Morris too. It's just weird that he might be the lowest of the Malone guys. Malone really likes his backcourt. That's what I'm saying.
Do you have guys?
I'm
here on the couch.
Which
of us are your guys?
I'm a huge Brendan guy.
Sure.
I'm a pretty good big Dev guy.
Sure.
Up and down, up or down.
Yep. Got it.
Kale. I'm a big Kale guy.
Absolutely.
Who
went
else?
to Hawaii recently.
I love this gnome.
big
gnome guy. And then if I said last place, it'd probably be Jokic here. The Jokic guy. He's also great. So.
That hurt more than I thought.
Thanks for asking.
It really hurt a lot more than I thought it would.
Really stung. Zeke Naji again tonight. His shooting has fallen off, although he was 2 of 6 from 3 tonight, which is pretty good. But his shooting has continued to be good. His defense, I think, is still impressive. People are starting to take notice of it. I think his defense and the impact that he's having. Hartenstein gets 10 minutes tonight. Goes 1 of 3. He was a +5 in those 10 minutes with 4 points, 3 rebounds, but he continues to be the one guy that I feel like is almost certainly out of the rotation once anybody comes back.
Yeah, I mean, he's also a little bit of a victim, too, of, if you're looking for an explanation, the first place I would go is, like, we just said how hard it is to play 6 minutes at a time when you don't know if you're playing or not. If I were Isaiah Hartenstein, I would probably not. I would have a hard time thinking that coaching staff has a lot of confidence in me. I've got a long leash.
Right.
Having said all that, I don't think he's done much to earn more minutes. Yeah. So I would think that he's probably the odd man out.
He has to be. He's terrible.
Yeah, but like
I don't think he's terrible. Honestly,
you guys can see. You can. Adam.
I'm not being.
I think he's.
You don't think I have a hard time saying when I think guys are terrible? I think there's a couple things working against him for you specifically, but I think for everyone as well. He's just so goofy, man. Like even when he makes good plays, he looks bad doing it.
He just drops the ball. Like he is. Like we wanted to call him Hard Rock, but like that describes literally only his hands. His hands are hard like stone.
Coming in a little
Eric, he watches the show. I don't know. He does not.
He definitely does not watch the show.
But his only field goal today was like a play that I wish that he like would study and know this is what you're here for. The cut, bounce pass, went and slammed the ball. Like, I wish he had more of that because that's what we've seen from Mason Plumlee. That's what we're used to. It would have been a backwards dunk, but it still would have been a dunk nonetheless. And just putting yourself at the dunker spot and grabbing boards and getting yourself going. Like I wish that there was more of that and less of the goofy plays. And again, like Adam said, his looks also like take it away from you because he is so goofy. And
I know.
He's missing a lot of like passes and a lot of things that it makes it hard. But there is like small like moments from him. And also he was able to play a few more minutes tonight, which they really needed. I mean,
they needed him.
Yeah, like,
only 8 guys played tonight.
Yeah, so you have to go through him and give him that time, and hopefully he makes more of that time.
You've given me a lot to think about. I'm rescinding my. He's terrible. He could just be a little better. That's all.
He's a good roller, Dev. I agree.
I feel bad now.
He's a great screener and a great roller, and I think that when you have skilled players around that actually really pops. And so, passing, I said this I remember in the preseason, I said something like, when I went back and watched his passing from seasons past, I'm like, he makes some really great passes and he makes some like inexplicably bad ones. And then the preseason, if you guys remember, he looked like Magic Johnson for a while there, and everyone's like, dude, you said this guy sucks at passing, he's amazing. And I'm like, maybe he's great, I don't know. But now you see it. It's like every now and then he just like throws the craziest and you're like, dude, how'd you miss that one up? But it is meaningful to me that he only got 10 minutes tonight when Malone went to such a tight rotation and he only left him on the court there. I know it's going to sound crazy. If guys come back, I think Hartenstein obviously gets bumped. I like JaMychal Green better. Paul Millsap, you trust more, whatever. But if guys are not back for the while, I still would like to see him get 10 to 15 minutes because I do wonder what he looks like 2-3 games from now if he continues to get more and more minutes. Because if he can be a guy the Nuggets can count on for 15, 20 minutes, like that's so big for Jokic. It's so big for him to not have to play 38 minutes all the time.
One thing he's better at, Mason Plumlee, than getting away with moving screens.
Yeah,
he's very good at those.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. Plumlee really can't get away with a moving screen to save his life.
Harrison Wynn should be joining us very shortly here to tell us what was going on in the post-game commentary. Jamal Murray's birthday. Maybe there's a little, maybe he has some fire quotes for his birthday.
Was Harrison invited?
Maybe. Yeah, like Harrison's like, sorry guys, I'm out today. Got an awesome invite.
Did he bring the gift we all bought for him?
I don't. But we're gonna take a break and then we'll get to that on the other side. Take it away, Brendan.
Why not have it both ways in uncertain times, gentlemen? You can make money and work while you're earning your degree. MSU students can tell you all about it. They work double the hours while taking classes, just like any other school in Colorado. A lot of people are trying to figure how to do things out from home, from online these days. MSU Denver Online, they've been mastering this process for a while. It's not an A to B process. It's not lazy. They're not printing your degree. They're trying to put you in a dynamic education, put you in the classroom with professors who have real world experience. They're trying to get you prepared for a world that's ever changing and keep you ever adaptable. So if you're not looking to compromise, if you're not looking to choose, and you're looking to keep your education going, check out our friends at MSU Denver Online.
Isn't it weird when the music is so distracting, but then when it goes off, it's also distracting?
This is like what it must be like in Ball Arena when they're.
It's so true. You're right. It's like I was having to manufacture energy tonight.
Yeah. Hey, Kale, could you do some fake crowd noise back there? Or could you sing "Who Let the Dogs Out"?
I really enjoy being able to hear and think. It makes me happy.
People don't know, man. People don't know it can be rough. It can be rough out there.
The Colorado Hawks is a nonprofit organization helping athletes from all over Colorado achieve their dreams of playing sports at the next level and earning college scholarships. The Hawks produce high-level athletes in boys and girls basketball and soccer.
Oh, this is a new one. This is a new
most importantly, this is an affordable program that has never turned an athlete away due to costs.
You know about the Hawks, Dev, I think.
The Colorado Hawks program prides itself on keeping kids off the streets and helping underprivileged youth earn opportunities they might not get otherwise. This year, the Hawks organization will celebrate its 25th anniversary.
Very cool stuff.
We've teamed up with the Hawks to raise awareness for their great organization. As they are a nonprofit, our number one goal is to help fundraise for the organization to help them continue to provide these opportunities for young athletes in our home of Colorado, your home of Colorado. I'm not from Colorado. They've got a sweet shirt for sale with 100%
is this your
of
home,
the.
Though? Is it your home?
It is. I've got that D-line coach shirt and everything. They've got a sweet shirt for sale, though. Colorado Hawks do, with 100% of the proceeds going right back into the program. Head to JokicForMVP.com to get a great high-quality shirt that says, you guessed it, Jokic for MVP. And you can help a great organization at the same time. So let's come together, support a program that has helped provide so many opportunities for Colorado's youth. Check out JokicForMVP.com to buy a shirt, and all of those proceeds will go to the Hawks.
I like it. That's really cool. I think some of the boys we're always talking about went there. You said one of them had a third quadruple double tonight.
Yes, third quadruple double
in high school. How many have happened in the state history?
I think that he was tied for first when he had his first one, and he now has 3 this season.
It's insane.
And he's only a sophomore.
What's his name again?
Hassan Diop.
That's great. It's
he's
insane.
Incredible. And then there's
insane.
also Bay Fall that's there, and he's the number 3 player in the country for the 2023 class.
Bay Fall?
Bay Fall.
That's a good name.
Fall's like the most common last name in Senegal. It's like Smith of
And
Senegal.
he is Senegal.
Like Taco.
Learn something new every day.
Taco Fall.
Yeah, Taco Fall. There you go.
That's right. That
The
is
whole
another
pipeline.
person with
Gallo
that name.
Amadou Fall. There's a bunch of falls.
I'm buying a Jokic for MVP shirt.
Supporting
right
a great
now.
cause. That's awesome. Look at you, man. That was quick. The first time reading that ad, and boom, already. Look at how many seconds. That's got to be an all-time.
Do you know why?
All-time high.
Brandon was very
persuasive.
Convincing. I like anything he talks about. I'm buying some Breck Brew. I'm locating some right now also.
I like it. We should, one thing we haven't talked about that now while we're waiting for, it sounds like Jamal Murray, birthday boy, took a little extra time today in the locker room, so he's going to be Harrison talking to him now. We haven't talked about the Denver Nuggets getting a G League team.
Oh, that's right.
The Denver Nuggets got a G League team.
We really didn't talk about that at all.
Yo,
we really didn't.
This is crazy because, there is no player. There are two players that absolutely need a G League team in existence, and that is Bol and it is Marcus Howard. And the fact that they're just sitting and wasting away on the bench, Bol is never going to get minutes at this stage in his career. He absolutely just needs to be on the court playing. It sucks. It just sucks so bad the way that everything is shaking out for him right now. I would love to see Marcus Howard on the G League squad. I would love to see Bol up there putting up
Bol's
numbers.
a fun watch in G League too.
Yo,
he tries stuff.
We got to get this going, man.
So it's the Grand Rapids Drive, and as you mentioned, it's a team that's already established.
Yep.
Denver's acquiring them. I think going from Detroit now to Denver, so Denver now has them. It's going to stay in Grand Rapids. There's going to continue to be the Drive, which is a little bit of a bummer because let's be honest.
The minors.
The Drive, it fits with the Pistons. It's very car themed. It's very Michigan.
That is for sure they're going to stay as the Drive?
At least for the time being. I mean, it'd be a little bit weird, I think, to be the Grand Rapids Miners because it doesn't really. There's not a lot of mining culture in my knowledge. Maybe there is.
Yeah, that's
Grand Rapids,
absolutely.
There's a lot of mining.
I
will admit to knowing nothing about Grand Rapids.
You went to Grand Rapids.
Wait, I did?
Isn't that North Dakota?
No. I think there is a Grand Rapids, but this is Seychelles, Michigan. Michigan,
okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right off of Lake Michigan. Your geography, man. My
it's Eric's
goodness.
first day on Earth.
Remember when Seychelles came in? They didn't even know about the Seychelles.
Oh, hold on. Grand Rapids is a city in South Dakota.
Yeah, there's Grand Rapids all over, man.
This has been Geography Corner. DNVR Nuggets.
But Eric's not wrong.
But he is wrong. He is wrong. I want everybody to know that he is wrong because the Grand Rapids Drive are in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Well, you were asking me specifically just about the.
I will admit, though, I don't know if there is a mining history to Grand Rapids, Michigan. There could be. I don't really know.
Definitely not.
Almost certainly not.
If you do know at home, let us know in the comments.
Nonetheless, the Nuggets get a G League team, and I think that's really cool starting next season. So the Nuggets will officially. It's funny because I don't know who's going to go there. You would assume that. What happened? You got a great.
It's not Grand Rapids, South Dakota, Eric. It's Rapid City, South Dakota.
Yeah, of course it's Rapid City. You guess where Mount Rushmore.
Why would he say that?
Is that what you were thinking of? You what an idiot, man!
I want to kill myself. Do you ever just want to disappear?
Sorry, bro. At least it's not live on the internet.
I can't believe you went along with me.
I went to school in South Dakota.
How did you not even?
I knew that.
I like that you agreed with him. You're like, I think there is one. I don't know.
I just wanted to back my friend. He looked sad. I had to go with him.
That's the first time anyone's on the show has called me their friend. That
See what I'm saying?
That might be true.
It really did stand out. Yeah, it felt weird when I heard him say it. All right, so the Nuggets next year, they get the Grand Rapids Drive. They acquire him. And it's funny because next year, Zeke Naji already playing. It's hard to go that far in the future. Maybe these guys get traded. Who knows what happens? Who knows what prospects come in? Denver will have a pick, so they'll have a pick. Maybe that's the guy that goes. But next year, you don't expect Zeke Naji to be in the G League. You don't expect RJ Hampton to be in the G League. There's a pathway for those guys. Bol, if he's still on the team, it wouldn't make sense to send a third-year player down to the G League. I don't think he'd probably just decide to move on or whatever. But it does feel like they really could have used one for the last 4 or 5 years, and now you have one, and you're like, well, I don't know. Maybe let's send one guy.
I mean, the big thing about it is player development, and the Nuggets have been a team that hasn't had much of it because their guys have had to just watch, sit and watch, and then there's not much time for practice, so they're not getting any any type of game reps or anything like that, and there's only so much learning you could do from watching. You need that experience. So having that experience is dividends for the Nuggets because they need players to be playing to get better.
Bol especially.
Would have loved to have had him in the own.
Dude, I mean, it's a bummer the whole bubble situation that you had to pay a bunch of money. The Nuggets weren't really which made it so that the Nuggets couldn't send their players to glom onto other teams.
Right.
Just rotten luck for those two players especially. I just hope that they are given a chance to stick around and develop a little bit more.
I'm extremely excited for this because I just love the last few years. If they had guys down in the G, if Bol was down in the G League, if you could have utilized that for some of the end of bench prospects, I would be all in. This year, who would be there? Marcus Howard. I don't know. Maybe I'd tune in from time. I'd certainly be looking at the box scores or this or that. But, Bowl's down there. I'm watching for sure every single time.
No doubt.
And then also, I'm really curious to see how the Nuggets structure this because every team uses their G League team differently. And I would love for the Nuggets to really put a lot of thought into how they can best leverage it. Can they use it as a grassroots for developing coaching staff, grassroots for trying out different types of basketball? Do you just try to find not even a guy you want on your team, but you just find the closest replica you have to Nikola Jokic? Maybe Sean May. You guys remember Sean May from back in the day? He was like really good college player, not good NBA player, but he was a good passer. North Carolina, big, chunky guy. Maybe you try to find a Sean May and make him the staple so guys learn how to play with a Jokic type and all that stuff. That's really great. Is it weird at all to you?
Do you guys feel a gust in here?
Oh, man, I do. I actually do.
It's got a little cold.
I
A
do feel a little
wind
gust of
blowing
wind.
down from Rapid City.
Rapid City, South Dakota. Here it comes.
Ooh,
Coldest
chilly.
breeze. Harrison, what's going on, brother?
Oh, we can't hear.
We can't hear you, and I think it's on your end. Super producer Kel would never screw this up.
He's blaming you for what it's worth.
Harrison, try again.
Can you hear me now?
It was, in fact, Kale. I saw he clicked the button. Kale tried to sneak it in as if he wasn't, but I saw it was not your fault, Harrison. It's not your fault. Big night at Ball Arena, man.
Yeah, this was a fun one, guys. This was a fun one. A close game, 2 playoff caliber teams. It feels like everybody on the Nuggets roster played well tonight, or like had a lot of like really positive moments. So that was cool. And yeah, a lot to talk about in the post-game Zoom as well.
That's awesome. Well, take us in there. I had a prediction that Michael Malone was going to be overly effusive in his praise for Michael Porter Jr. tonight. That was my theory because I feel like this was a perfect game for Michael Porter to earn some brownie points from Michael Malone.
Yeah, you nailed that prediction. You nailed it.
I hate when Adam's right.
Do you want to tell us why?
I love
Harrison. He does these ones where that was a good lead-in, Harrison, to expound upon that.
Okay, you guys ready? You guys ready for me to talk? All right.
We're ready.
Michael Porter Jr. had team-high 10 rebounds tonight. Malone also said he had a team-high 12 contested shots.
Ooh, I like
That's
that.
one of those stats Denver's coaching staff takes off to the side, a team-high 12 contested shots. Malone said, tonight I thought it was an all-around game from him. He also said, quote, I just like the place he's in. I congratulated him post-game in the locker room. He said, Coach, I just want to help this team win. So you're exactly right, Adam. A lot of praise for Michael Porter Jr. And Mike also had some interesting stuff to say that I'll get to in a second. But you hit the nail on the head. A complete game, an all-around game for him tonight.
When you were watching, did it stand out to you, the impact he was having?
A little bit, not as much as Malone's post-game praise seems like it should have, but it was definitely notable how he went 4 of 7 from the first half and then seemed like he barely touched the ball in the second half.
Right.
That was notable, I thought. Finished up 4 of 9.
But staying engaged, that was the thing, continuing to rebound and defend after the ball went away from him. That, to me, that was it.
Yeah, for sure. The 10 rebounds were good as well. And look, we've seen him time and time again. If he's not a focal point of the offense, if he's not getting a lot of looks, he'll not be engaged on the other end of the floor. So, I mean, the fact that he got those 10 rebounds, and Malone obviously liked what he saw because he played 40 minutes tonight.
Right.
I think that tied a career high, at least in the regular season. So he was out there.
Yeah, awesome. What else did Malone zero in on in his commentary?
He shouted out Monte Morris and Facu Compazzo for their defense on Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
He said Damian Lillard's an MVP candidate in my eyes. I thought Monte and Facu accepted that challenge and just tried to be into him as much as possible. And then Malone also was talking about Zeke Najee's game. And of course, Zeke Naji was matched up on Carmelo for a lot of this night. And Melo did most of his scoring from the mid-range. Absolutely classic vintage Melo right on Zeke Najee's head, even though I thought it was pretty decent defense from Zeke most of the time. Malone said Carmelo is one of the best one-on-one scorers in NBA history. That's a great experience for a guy like Zeke Naji. Kind of got baptized tonight by a great player, and that's what young players have to go through, rites of passage and learning. That's how Zeke gets better.
What's funny, though, is Carmelo tonight was all shots you live with. And, like, Carmelo's good enough to make them. Kevin Durant's good enough to make those enough. You know, there's Kawhi Leonard. There's a handful of guys that are good enough. But when you're talking about the type of defense Zeke is good at, he's good at taking away the high-value shots. Carmelo was kept in front of him. Mm-hmm. Melo was hitting sidestep, jumpers or whatever. And it's like, hey, man, there's not a great defender on earth that's going to take that way away from him. And Eric was on this at halftime. At some point, he's going to miss him. He went like 8 for 8 in the first half on those tough mid-rangers. Eventually, you miss him, and there's a reason that shot's not that valuable.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing, or I guess I could say theme of tonight in the post-game interviews, Denver just not overthinking it. This is something that Nikola Jokic really hit on. When talking about the one turnover tonight, can you believe Nuggets had one turnover tonight? I think I saw that's an NBA record. Fewest turnovers ever in a game.
That's insane.
Like one turnover. It's ridiculous that it happened in this game where it was like such a tight game throughout as well.
True.
But Jokic just credited that with the fact that he didn't think the Nuggets overthought anything tonight. If they were open, they shot it. He obviously shot a lot, so he didn't pass the ball as much as he would in a normal game either. I mean, he shot 32 times tonight. And then that theme of overthinking also carried over to Jokic's game, he thought. He was asked about just what he's thinking about when he's reading defenses and double teams, because Malone also hit on the fact that I think Jokic leads the NBA in 40-point games this season, or he's tied for the lead. I think this is his fourth 40-point game of the year. He usually has one a year. He had one last year, one the year before, one the year before that. And Jokic said, quote, when you think sometimes you overthink, if they come, he's talking about guys double teaming him. They come. If they don't, I'm just going to shoot it or whatever. I'm just going to play the game. I'm not going to think about it anymore.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I think it's true. I mean, I do think he's learned how to play even more off of instinct and being present. You shot 20 times doesn't mean you have to stop. Just means
in the first half, some of those looked like he was off. He didn't have his touch, and he just shot his way through it. Which is
he had some uncharacteristic misses tonight.
Yeah,
like air
last
balls,
2 games.
Yeah, shots that were way off. Continued to go at Cantor, particularly in the first half because it was just one-on-one defense the whole night.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Did he have anything else, Jokic? Was there any other thing he kind of pointed out?
Nothing else really from Jokic. I can get to what Mike and Jamal had to say because I thought they both had some interesting stuff. Mike, of course, started at the 4 tonight, his first start at power forward. He said nothing really felt different, though. The offense is so interchangeable that he didn't really have to adjust at all. I thought the offense looked pretty good, but he says things didn't really look that much different. And then kind of on the topic of Malone saying he had a complete game, how engaged he was, here's what Mike had to say about the fact that, look, he only had 9 shots tonight. He had to do other things to help his team win. And just his improvement on the defensive end of the floor. He said, I definitely feel better and more prepared and more ready to make rotations and things like that. Right now, sometimes you don't get touches. Sometimes it's time for Joker or Jamal to take over and you're not getting the touches that you necessarily want. That's an opportunity for me to work on those other areas of the game. That's what I'm trying to do. Some nights will be my night to score. Sometimes it will be my night to contribute in other ways. So that's where his mindset's at right now.
Dude, this guy is nailing the pressers this year. Totally. He really is.
He really is. He really is. It's funny.
And here is the money quote from Porter on the night on like where that more readiness on defense comes from. He said, quote, I got tired of people like y'all saying I don't play defense. He did say that with a smile. He did say that with a laugh, but he let that off tonight. And then he just said it's a readiness, knowing your opponent instead of reacting when actions are ran. It's more anticipating. I think I'm doing a better job of that.
I love that quote in part because I thought this happened last year in the playoffs. Remember, Michael Porter came into the bubble, confidence on 100, gets a 37 piece, a 30 piece. You go into the playoffs, and I thought he was like, I'm ready. And then if you watched, because this was national broadcast, if you watch TNT after those first 3 games, everyone's like, Porter can't play, he can't guard anyone. And I just thought maybe there was no running from it. Right. So part of me goes, I hope he did hear all the, you need to hear that. You need to know that you're less than in certain areas and have to raise yourself.
I'm just thinking about the way that you manage all of us.
Adam's a little less amused.
The glare. Anyway, Harrison, if you could
come on, Michael Jordan. All right, what else? What else we got?
So we got Jamal left.
Birthday boy.
The birthday boy. And look, I'm going to write about this too. I'm going to write about kind of what was happening on the Nuggets sideline when Jamal got hurt tonight. But there was a point when he came over, the Nuggets called a timeout, and he wasn't even part of the huddle. He was over on the sideline, massaging his shoulder. Trainers were around him, trying to see what was wrong. He had a towel over it. He said he popped a couple Advil tonight. It was a classic Jamal Murray gets hurt and just comes out guns a-blazing in the fourth quarter. It was absolutely vintage, and it was awesome to watch.
Did we hear more about what specifically happened?
Is his shoulder?
He just re-aggravated his shoulder. He said a pain shot up to his neck. It was like a hot feeling, and he popped some Advils, and it felt better.
Vogt is over here watching the show on his computer, but you know how the ad pops up and then you skip it after 5 seconds? He just hasn't skipped it. It's been the ad this whole time.
Learning a lot.
Maybe he's interested in the product.
Auto shop, for those who are wondering.
That's a bit. What do you make of the shoulder? What do you make of this, Harrison? Because we talked about this earlier. Murray had 3 points, I think, or maybe 5 points going into the fourth, and then, of course, dominates the fourth quarter. You know, obviously it's a good game. We're not taking anything away from it, but like you talk about the shoulder being hurt, or is this just the Murray that we're still just have to kind of accept?
Yeah, I mean, even on his best nights last season, this is sometimes the guy he is.
Right.
You know, when he's not scoring in one half and then is absolutely on fire in another half. So I wonder if it's just the type of guy he is, but he also had 8 assists tonight. He had 5 rebounds. Yeah. I thought he played great off of Facu Compazzo when those two were on the floor together for a lot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Murray was off the ball a lot, and you guys know how much I think that helps him just get off on the offensive end. He was running off screens. He was catching the ball on the move. I felt like that really helped him. And he did have the 1 turnover. Denver's only turnover of the night. He was very upset to find that out post-game. But
that's funny.
No, he continues just a string of really great play. And I asked him if not making the All-Star team kind of added any motivation, because that was obviously a goal of his. And look, I don't think he was close to making the All-Star team, but I was just curious about that. And he said, look, championship is the goal. Obviously, you find some milestones that you can miss out on, but there's a lot more to achieve this season than just being an all-star. That motivation is going to carry on throughout the whole season.
Yeah. Love that, man. Love it.
I love it, too.
What about, and we talked about, to me, this was one of the biggest things, and you haven't really commented on it, so it must not have come up. But it was, we talked about Jokic, we talked about Murray. I thought it was the 2-man game. This was probably the best 2-man game we've seen from those two this season.
Without question.
Yeah. That stood out to me during the game. Yeah, nothing really on it post-game. Particularly in the clutch, though.
Right.
Like, this was vintage Murray, Jokic, pick-and-roll 2-man game in the clutch. And it's funny because those two have been one of the most clutch 2-man pairings in the league over the last couple of seasons. Denver has one of the best clutch win percentages in the NBA with those two obviously as the focal point. That hasn't really been the case this season. They don't have that pristine clutch record this year. But yeah, tonight, like, that was a return to what we're used to in the clutch.
I loved it. Any other notes from Ball Arena tonight, Harrison?
The only other thing I have, I thought this was pretty funny. So Nikola Jokic does his post-game TNT interview. He's the only one on the court. Jamal Murray's gone in. Michael Porter Jr., the other guy who did his post-game interview on the court, I think with like Altitude Radio, went into the locker room. There's nobody on the court. But the Ball Arena Game Ops puts on the artificial MVP chants for Jokic when he's done with the interview and walking into the tunnel. I thought that was just I don't even know. It was hilarious. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was like satisfying. I don't know. It was just it was notable.
Hey, Harrison, did we hear anything about Will Barton? I thought I saw it looked like he tweaked an ankle like in that game.
No, I did not hear anything about Will Barton, but I did see him take himself out of the game there late. I think he's okay, though.
Well, great stuff, Harrison. We missed you in the studio, but this was great details. Where else are you going to get that the PA played MVP chants? It's almost, you actually like that detail. To me, it's almost sad. Like, it's
like,
I didn't know if it was just depressing or like funny or just weird.
It's a great detail. But it definitely reminds you that it's an empty building in a pandemic year. And like, oh yeah, that's right.
National TV game happened in Denver tonight. And we didn't go anywhere near the arena.
But get home safe, Harrison. Thank you so much, man.
All right, see you guys.
And that'll wrap it up here today, guys. What a good bounce-back win, feel-good game, all of the above. Nuggets get rolling. Now they got the Wizards in town, which are the best team in the NBA currently. They are just scorching everybody.
You're only half kidding.
I'm really not kidding at all, actually. I'm 0% kidding. Yeah. They're beating everybody. So that'll be a nice test for them. We thought that would be an easy game, a couple weeks ago. Clearly it won't be, but that's good. Denver needs some challenges heading into the All-Star break and to gain a little momentum. They are now 7th. Guys, they're climbed. I think they might have been 7th coming in, but they remain 7th.
Where they were previously.
But, it is funny. I look at the plus-minus, the differential. Nuggets plus 3.8. That's the 5th best. That's the 5th best. So, and by a mile. Like, nobody else is really. Golden State's like half at 1.7. All the other teams that are ahead of them, San Antonio, Portland, negative point differential. I know that doesn't mean everything, but it does give you a little indication of, like, Denver's probably better, than those teams, probably.
I don't think Denver's been like truly blown out. Have we been blown out this year?
Yeah, Clippers. Game 2, I think.
Game 2. But that's it. Like the Nuggets are like
Lakers blew them out.
That's true.
Lakers blew them out.
But I mean, it's been a very low percentage of games. I mean, that's what
they've lost close.
That's what you can read from that point differential is that they're not just like. And in years past, they do get blown out.
You know what I'd like to see though against Washington?
A blowout?
Nope.
Oh.
More threes from Davis Bertans.
Don't really care to see that one. Okay. That's not it. That wasn't the one.
Russell Westbrook.
No, you guys are all wrong on these. I'd like to see more the Jokic Murray 2-man game because we're talking about how many close games there are and losing close, and I think part of this is tonight we saw them close with the thing that I feel is most repeatable. So I hope they repeat it.
Sick. I'm with that.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget hit that like button if you're listening on a pod. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're watching the show and you don't subscribe to the podcast, check it out. There'll be a notebook edition tomorrow, so we're going to go over some more of the details. You won't want to miss that. We'll see you then.